So now that the Cowboys have traded for George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers, what I want to kick around is just the idea of a couple of different things. Is one, guys in contract years and what that means, but two, how much can a change of scenery mean in terms of shifting the course of a career or getting back on track or whatever? And with former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley, who's been in the locker room with lots of guys who've gotten change of sceneries, I would just like your perspective on that. George Pickens goes from booty quarterback in a place where he might not have been super happy to
cold place.
Better quarterback, cold place,
to a
warm place.
Literally, my thought, I was going to say, can I do a funny first before I do a serious?
Yeah.
Like, my funny would be, to your theory, you talk about people in Philadelphia, why they're so angry and so mean.
They don't have any money and it's cold outside.
Same thing going on in Pittsburgh. Maybe that's why George Pickens is so upset. You know,
he had to get off work and go work in the steel mill.
Maybe. It's cold in Pittsburgh. The river's right there. Ain't much happening in Pittsburgh. It lends for an angry situation. And so maybe coming to Dallas, it's 70 at times in December. The weather is better. I'm for sure know the food is better here.
Pierogi's pretty good though.
And normally when you're in cold places, a lot of time, ladies might have a little more big backs over there. We're cool here. You know what I'm saying?
We are.
Yeah,
It's
uptown.
Texas, they got big backs in Texas.
But
too.
uptown.
Yeah, but they're not real.
But uptown.
Uptown.
BBLs?
Uptown. No, not big rumps, big backs.
Oh, okay.
Backs.
Okay, backs.
Yeah,
Oh.
big backs.
Oh, I like that, though.
Yeah, big
Shoulders,
backs.
big back,
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta
I'm
stay
on all
warm
that.
and you gotta stay warm and insulated when you're in the Northeast. You know what I mean?
You have to
But-
carry fur pelts from cottage to cottage.
But on a serious note, here's why I think a change of scenery could be good for a guy like George Pickens. Is you get a chance, and some people take advantage of it, and some people are just crazy to the core. I get a chance to reinvent myself. When I went to college, and a lot of times this happens, no one knows you from Schulenburg. No one knows you from Allen. No one knows you from Roselle. Forget what city you grew up in.
San Bruno.
San what?
San Bruno.
San Bruno.
San Francisco.
So you can come to college and be a whole different person. You can be a nicer guy. You could be a jerk. You could be an a-hole. You have an opportunity to reshape the identity of who people know you as.
you can change your preferences.
You can also change your preference if you want.
Go from chill to pop-up.
Or your pronouns if you like.
Even,
you want.
even
can
if
do
you
all
didn't want
those
to.
things, or you could, yeah. So I think for George, it's coming to a new place, and yes, he may have a reputation that precedes him, but for the most part, you get a chance to introduce yourself to new people and give them a new perspective of you. He did a great job in his phone interview the other day, said all the right things, gave all the right answers to the questions, and now he can come in this locker room and he can change that crazy to culture. He can go from one thing to the next. So sometimes a change of scenery can definitely help you out. And as a receiver, and I'm nowhere near the level of talented as George Pickens is. You get a little bit more happier when you know you got a better quarterback.
Thank you.
Life means a little bit more.
Yeah.
When you go into a game, life means more. You're going to a game and it's not going to be Justin Fields running around throwing you an incomplete pass. It's not going to be Russell Wilson throwing you a ball right once every 5 times.
Have a little respect for Kenny Pickett.
What does
Small
he do?
hands.
My small-handed king.
What did Kenny Pickens do?
Nothing.
Wear a couple of gloves.
He's got small hands.
So like you getting up in the morning going to work is a lot different when you know, man, I got Dak Prescott today.
Right.
Well, hell, let's go. It goes from I have to play football to I get to play football.
Right.
But what are the potential pitfalls? Because one thing I think when you're talking about that is like, hey, you do have a great quarterback, right? And significantly better than what you had in Pittsburgh. But in Pittsburgh, you were kind of the dude at wide receiver. Now they got another guy who's going to be getting a lot of targets in CeeDee Lamb. Like, when you're talking about, hey, in Pittsburgh, I might run a route, but it doesn't matter because Fields is going to take off anyways or just miss me. Here, you might run a route, and it might not matter on certain occasions because CeeDee Lamb's going to get targeted.
Correct. But in the event that, okay, let's say CeeDee Lamb does get 10, 12 targets in a game. The ones that George Pickens gets, because sometimes it's all about what happens when I catch the ball. If George Pickens gets 3 targets, but 2 of them are 40 yards plus,
He gonna be happy.
he'll be happy as hell.
Yeah.
If he gets 3 targets,
He gonna be happy.
if he gets 3 targets
He gonna be happy.
and 2 of them are touchdowns,
He gonna be happy.
he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
It's when the only time, honestly, a receiver really gets upset is when there is no productivity or no action my way and we're losing.
Yeah.
That's when you see receivers get a little bit, upset. And for George, I think the pressure is off of him.
Right.
He looks around now and go, I don't have to carry the load of being the guy and having to make all these miraculous and spectacular plays because we do have a guy over there. I can come in and be under the radar and play off of him.
Right.
And now, and that's why I said that's very important that Shotty has that conversation, that he is the dude. But your 3 or 4 catches that you may get a game now, those things might be pretty Randy Moss type thing. 3 catches, 150 yards, and 3 touchdown type levels.
I go to the change of environment, not just for him as from Pittsburgh to Dallas, but the offense, the quarterback. The offense, the quarterback. Dak Prescott, not Dak Prescott, but Keyshawn Johnson used to always say, you see the numbers I put up with a bunch of bums at quarterback. I'm not Bugs Bunny. It's not a cartoon. I can't throw it and catch it too. Pickens has played with a bunch of bums, with all due respect, relatively speaking, dating back to Georgia, and he's always been a dude. He's always put up numbers. And look at the numbers he put up in Pittsburgh the last couple of years was less than dudes at quarterback. Let's be honest about that. And now he gets to come here, and it wasn't just the quarterback, it was also the offense they tried to run. They were trying to force the ball it was a run-oriented, and let's go force the ball to an average back who had 1,000 yards,
Harris,
who had averaged under 3 yards a carry. It was just a boring offense. And so he's going to be excited to come into Dallas to play with Dak Prescott, who he called a prolific quarterback, to play with Shotty, to play off of CD. Cowboys historically with Dak Prescott have been a high-scoring offense to throw the ball around the field a lot. So I think that's part of the equation for him because he's motivated to have a good year and get paid.
And 70 degrees inside AT&T Stadium sounds nice.
Yeah, until the sun hits you second quarter.
That's true.
Get acclimated. What if George Pickens got on the phone and be like, yeah, man, I'm so excited to go and play with the white Kirk Cousins.
Martin did not say that.
It would have been an interesting quote.
Martin didn't say it, though.
If he'd be like, man, I get to play with the black Kirk Cousins? Let's
go. It
go.
was fake news, AI quote. People made them. You know those AI things that they do now with Mike Tomlin on Pickens, and they got somebody putting up some words and just killing them. Yeah, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so old, but I just discovered using Chat GPT for some stuff.
And you can make up some stuff,
not making up some stuff, just like, hey, I'm going here. Tell me where I should, if I like you just put in whatever the hell you want. And it's like, ding! That stuff's smart, but I fear it also. I'm afraid of it.
I'm a little afraid of it, too.
I'm afraid of it. Wide receivers are interesting because part of me is like, George Pickens is going to be, when you think really highly of yourself, as all receivers do, and I want them to, and you want the ball.
As you did.
If we get to, I don't really want the ball because, do
you think you're the best flag football route runner in the league?
I was in the country.
See?
I was.
It fits.
But anyway,
it fits.
No, it's like, because I could see a world where, you get 6 games into the season and CD's got 700 yards and 4 touchdowns and Pickens has 250 and 2 tutties. And it's like, how does that feel? But I could see it playing out the other way too, where it's like everybody knows you want to get CD the ball. It's very possible that George Pickens is about to go ham because Dak's going to look at the way people line up all day and they're like, for real? That's what y'all think about him?
Right.
Okay. We're going to find out. And, receivers are wild ass. And so I wonder what it looks like if we get 4 weeks into the season and George Pickens has 550 yards and CD has 315. And it's like, what are we doing over there? But I think to your point, tell me their record, and I'll tell you how they feel.
Right. Kind of a side tangent, but how do
CD
we?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, how do we? Because I feel like I haven't seen it a lot in my 2 years here, frankly, because they haven't had this option. How is Dak Prescott's ability outside deep balls to throw that? Because I know the seam is really good. Yeah. But I'm just thinking, I feel like we haven't seen a lot of outside.
Gallup.
Like he had Gallup averaging 17 yards a catch.
Yeah, so then, they can work out with that. Yeah. And that's what Pickens, I think, his best option is going to be here.
Yeah. He'll throw that ball. So anyway, that's getting ready for George Pickens to win Super Bowl MVP and be the beginning of our back-to-back-to-back Super Bowl championships. And that'll, of course, be Pickens this year and then 2 straight franchise tags before we get our comp pick in a few years after that. You guys out there, thanks for stopping by. Good talk. We'll see you out there. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.